Volleyball spiking is one of the most iconic actions in the sport of volleyball. Everyone loves to watch it, and it drives defenders crazy. And this is exactly what we are going to teach you, the perfect volleyball spike to shine on volleyball courts. Are you ready to smash some balls?
But first, hold your horses for a while. Volleyball spiking is a really complex set of small movements that need to be done correctly. Don't worry, you can do it, but we need to start from the very beginning and move step by step. We'll take you on a journey to become a good volleyball spiker. But for the first step, you don't even need a ball.
This video is for anyone who wants to improve their spiking technique. Kids will learn everything from the ground up, and amateur adults will find out what they are doing wrong and how to fix the mistakes. You will hear everything from the position of a right-handed player. For left-handed players, the same applies, but mirrored.
The first stage of the evolution of the volleyball spiker, the archer. At first, we have to learn how to move our arms and hands properly. Your striking arm has to gather as much kinetic energy as possible, and that's why we have to perform this seemingly complicated movement. Imagine that your hand is a whip that you're about to swing. At the beginning, there's a movement of the arm, then a bend at the elbow, and at the end, the wrist. A parent or coach can help children perform the correct arm movement.
It used to be taught that the elbow should rise above the head, but now we know that this is not the way to do it because it puts unnecessary strain on the joints and it is not technically correct. So watch out. Health is the most important thing, and there is only one correct technique.
Yes, it's true. It was taught that way, and this 12-year-old girl soon eliminated it. Here too, in a 13-year-old boy, the elbow should go lower around the shoulder, but these are really little things that we can deal with or even live with.
The movement begins with the elbow moving backwards, the arms forming correctly into the archer position. Keep this position in your mind.
The arm must pass through this position during every good spike, both from the left and right side, as we can see in the top volleyball examples.
After the archer's position, the elbow rises upwards, with the palm falling first behind the head and then rising upwards to a point that is ideal for hitting the ball. This point is above the right shoulder. The whole chain of movement ends with the movement of the wrist.
The ideal place to strike the ball is above the right shoulder because, firstly, when the ball is hit, the right shoulder is further away from the net than the left and is about to rotate towards the net. Secondly, only when hitting above the shoulder the arm is stretched highest and the direction of the downward flight of the crossed ball is granted by the wrist. A common mistake is that the ball is hit in front of the shoulder and the wrist either cannot engage or threatens to knock the ball into the net.
Here in the case of a 9-year-old girl, the palm does not fall and get behind the head enough, and thus the elbow does not go up first, as it should. To create the idea of the palm falling behind the head, have the children grab the shirt behind the neck.
The correct arm movement for spiking needs to be trained properly to get into your blood. For example, an expander can help you.
Once you know where the arm is supposed to go, you can use an overball, which is a soft rubber ball that the child can hold in the hand while moving the arm, so we can start to learn how to throw correctly. Of course, a tennis ball can perform the same service for us.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. That's a topic for the next step. Volleyball is evolving, and alongside the traditional archer technique, there is increasingly a technique where the elbow goes below shoulder level, as we see here.
We will keep an eye on this development, and if this technique prevails, it will also affect our methodological approach. And before we go any further, let's enjoy together the hard spike of the Cuban spiker with its emotional accompaniment.
The second stage of the evolution of the volleyball spiker, the thrower. The movement of the arm when spiking is not only similar to cracking a whip, but also to the biomechanics of throwing, so it is a good start to learn how to throw an overball or tennis ball correctly. We start in a kneeling position, so as not to complicate the movement of the legs, we will add them later. Kneel on your right knee diagonally in the direction of the throw, first in the open space and later at the low net. Throw the ball over the net, concentrating on the wrist work at the end of the arm movement.
Be really oblique to the net. This mimics the position at the net during a real spike, where you bounce with your left side to the net.
If you can throw in the kneeling position, you can start using the other hand. The player reaches for the overball and touches it with the other hand and throws it over the net with the correct technique. The next exercise is to drop the ball from above, which adds even more dynamism to the exercise, and repeat the whole procedure standing up.
Believe that throwing correctly in many ways creates a really solid foundation for future spiking. Even very young children can throw properly. This little one is 8 years old, and you can see how well he can do it.
The important thing in this exercise at the net is to be at the right distance so that the hand can continue between the body and the net after the throw. The correct distance can be measured by stretching the arm. Make sure that the correct foot position is similar to the actual spiking position when throwing, as we see in this Brazilian spiker. This mistake of having the feet in the opposite position is very typical of young girls, but it doesn't take much work to eliminate it. We just have to notice it early.
Engaging the other hand is important, because with proper technique it happens even during matches. So don't slack off.
Those who can throw correctly, both kneeling and standing, can advance to the third developmental stage of the volleyball spiker, and then will finally jump.
The arm movement starts with the elbow of the striking arm being thrown backwards. The striking arm must always pass through the archer's position, where the stretched non-striking arm points forward and upwards. The palm falls behind the head, then rises upwards. The elbow rises up before the strike, followed by the wrist. The ball is hit over the right shoulder, and the downward direction is given by the wrist. If you can't throw properly, you can't spike. We start by throwing an overball or a tennis ball kneeling with the left side forward. When throwing standing at the net, it is necessary to take the correct position with the left hip forward. The non-striking arm rises above the head when throwing.
In this episode of the International Volleyball Academy, we went through the first two developmental stages of a volleyball spiker, and in the next episode, the final two stages await you and you will be finally a true spiker.